Surprise, bitch. Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. Hello, everybody. It is me, Corey Motley, the internet's least popular YouTuber. I'm here to do a minimal men's makeup video. So truth be told, I've tried to film this video twice already. The first time I tried to film it, I used a different lens, and the noise of the lens was so loud that it was making lots of noise while I was trying to film, which is not a good thing. The second time I tried to film it, I actually didn't do my makeup very well, so that's why I'm here a third time. You know, they say a third time's a charm, so we're here to film this video. This is gonna be me just sort of, I wouldn't call this a get ready with me per se, because I'm not getting ready to do anything unless you wanna get ready with me to sit on my ass around the house, because that's pretty much what I'm gonna be doing the rest of the day. But this is more of a, if I were going out to do something, this is just kind of like the minimal makeup I would put on to go out. And I've tried to film, the first two times I tried to film this video, I tried to really explain myself. And I find that I'm not very good at videos like that. I'm not good at telling people what to do because I don't like to be told what to do. And also, everybody does their own thing differently. Not everybody gets ready the same way. I don't want anyone to think that the way that I put makeup on is the way that you need to put makeup on, because that's absolutely not true. So instead of me shouting at the camera and saying, here's what I do, so you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to use the same products I am, and you need to use the same brushes I am, and whatever. I'm just going to kind of go through my steps and talk about why I do it and how I do it, and maybe that'll serve as a little bit of inspiration for you, because I certainly don't want to come off as arrogant or I'm trying to tell people what to do, because I'm not a trained makeup artist. I don't have any formal background in makeup or anything like that. So that's pretty much the prologue to this video. All right, so I'm going to take my glasses off before I get started because I can't really do makeup with glasses on. And I'm just going to talk about a few things that I do before I even start putting makeup on at all. So something that I like to do before I go out is shave. I will either trim my beard, or if I don't have time to trim my beard, I will always use a razor to shave my cheeks right here, and I will also shave my neck, because I don't think there's any problem with having a beard. Obviously I have one. The days of sort of a beard being unprofessional are over. However, I think it's important for your beard to be kind of well kept and trimmed, and I also think it's really important to keep my neck shaved, or at least I like this, to keep my neck shaved so that I look clean, and to keep my cheeks shaved so I don't have a stubble right here. The other part is that if I have stubble right here, I tend to find that it's more difficult to blend my foundation on it, and it kind of looks a little bit weird whenever I do that. So I try to keep my cheeks clean shaven whenever I can. So the first thing I do after I shave is I wash my face, and I promise I washed my face about 10 minutes ago. What I like to use to wash my face is this bad boy. This is the Cerave Hydrating Cleanser. And I don't go in, in heavy and spend, an hour washing my face. I just kind of put a few pumps in my hand, I wet my face, and then I kind of wash it for about 30 seconds and rinse it off. The interesting thing about that cleanser is that sometimes when you think about face wash and you think about soap, you think about kind of a foaming action of the soap working and really sudsing up as you work it into your hands or into your face or your body or whatever. But the CeraVe gel cleanser doesn't foam up, it just remains smooth. It still cleans, but it remains smooth over your face as you're cleaning it, and it doesn't foam up, it doesn't really dry my skin out or anything, and whenever I'm done cleansing, my skin feels really soft after I use it, so I really like it. It's more of a, if you're a double cleanse kind of person, it's more of a second cleanse. Usually if I have a lot of makeup on, I will use a micellar water on a cotton pad or two cotton pads all over my face to kind of take the outer layer of makeup off, and then I will go in with the CeraVe cleanser, and I will really cleanse my face and then use a towel and kind of pat it dry or kind of wipe everything off my face, and that's usually does it for me. The second thing I do is I use a moisturizer. This is the E.L.F. Hello Hydration Moisturizer. I don't really have a preference for moisturizers. This is just kind of the one that I have been using recently. It comes in a tub like this. I just dip my fingers in. I've got a mirror right here in front of me, so I'm going to use this. I patch it on my face a little bit, and then I just kind of rub it in. A moisturizer is good because obviously it moisturizes. It makes my skin feel more ready for makeup. Sometimes you might want to use SPF in your moisturizer. SPF is incredibly important to use on a daily basis. I'm setting a really bad example because I'm actually not using SPF today. But some foundations have SPF, some moisturizers have SPF, some primers have SPF. But this is sort of my bare minimum look. Well, I'm gonna add a few extra steps at the end, but so I'm just gonna go in with my regular moisturizer. I have a couple of E.L.F. moisturizers that have SPF 50 in them, and if I know I'm gonna be out in the sun, if I'm going out to like photograph like a skate event or something like that, then I will always use my SPF 50 moisturizer first, and only that, and then go on to foundation. But I use this because I find it really helps foundation work over my skin. So after foundation, or after moisturizer, I go straight into foundation. For the kind of the theme of this video, I'm going to try to keep everything pretty cheap, because some people might be coming to this video looking for, you know, a cheap men's makeup look. Maybe they're not looking to spend a lot of money. And to be fair, I don't have a lot of high-end cosmetics. I don't really have a lot of expensive stuff. But we're going to get the ball rolling with this ridiculously named Hard Candy Glamoflauge foundation. I wear the color 1505. I also have 1507 because sometimes I mix them. But this foundation oxidizes, I find, a tiny bit, which means it warms up. It gets a little bit darker on your skin as it dries down. So I'm actually just going to go in with the lighter shade, and if I need to bronze up my skin later, I will. So whenever I use this, it has this kind of big old applicator on it. A lot of people don't like these because they think that, you know, they're worried about dabbing it around your face and then putting bacteria from your face back into the tube. I don't really know how valid that is, but I do think it's interesting that people often complain about these applicators with foundation, but they don't complain about it with concealers or with lipstick or with mascara or anything else that might touch your skin and then go back into a tube. People only seem to complain about it with foundation, but I actually really like this applicator. Would you like to know why? It's because it's fucking easy to use. I just stripe it around my face, kind of dab it around like so. If I were using my darker foundation with this, I would mix it in with it. Put a couple dots down here. I don't know if this will be enough to cover everything I want, but I'm just going to stick this back in the tube. And I use a Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge. It looks like this. This one is damp. Whenever it's dry, it's this size. So when you dampen it, it gets a little bit bigger. I hold it under the sink. I kind of wring it out a few times in water, and then I wrap it in a hand towel and give it an extra wring. So it's damp, it's softer, and it doesn't suck up as much of the product, and it just kind of blends it over the face better. I don't like to let this sit on my face a long time before I blend it because it does dry, so I'm just going to get right into it. So I just take it and just kind of bounce, kind of smooth and bounce the product around on my face. Sorry, if you hear my chair, I'm using my computer chair and it's incredibly squeaky. Of course, when I try to make it squeak, it doesn't, but then whenever I'm moving around, it just does. Oh, I totally missed that spot on the side of my head. So this foundation, something that I really like about it is that as it dries, it gets kind of rubbery, which sounds really kind of gross. But I actually like that because it kind of lets me know that it's not going to go anywhere. Because some foundations dry down better than others, and some foundations are more transfer proof than others, and I feel like this foundation is pretty transfer proof. I'm actually going to go in with some more. So we're going to go, probably go in with a lot more actually. This is going to look kind of scary, I think, but we're just going to go with it. Because usually I would have used more anyway, because I would have used the dark color in conjunction with this. But because I'm only using the light color, I'm going to go in with another layer. Take it around my nose, dab it around, try to blend it into my beard a little bit. The first time I filmed this, it was so embarrassing. I put on this foundation, and I put on the warmer one with it, and I ended up not blending it into my beard very well. So it looked, I had this like kind of orangey cheeks. There was like a stripe of bare skin. And then my beard started, and I also have trimmed my beard since then. It was really embarrassing the first time. I couldn't bring myself to post the video. Like I said, this is the third time I have done this. So hopefully I get it right this time. Alright, so that foundation's a little light, but I'm going to put some bronzer on in a minute to just give my skin a little bit of life. Okay, foundation's on. I'm going to do a little bit of concealer. I don't normally conceal, but I'm going to do just a tiny bit today. I'm going to use this Sonia Kashuk Liquid Light Concealer. This actually doesn't exist anymore because all the Sonia Kashuk color products are gone from Target, unfortunately, but this is just the one that I like, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it with a Real Techniques Deluxe Concealer Brush. And what I do is I'm going to dab a tiny bit off the brush, or off the applicator onto the brush, and I'm going to take it in and just kind of press it where I need it. I've got a little pimple right next to my nose ring here that I want to dab it on. Some people get redness around their nose and cheeks. I'm going to dab it right around here. I've got a little bit of redness in here. And concealer is just kind of like foundation amped up a little bit. Take a little bit more, put it over here. Not using a lot, just a little bit. Alright, so now that I'm done with my foundation and concealer that are more of my like liquid and cream products, now I start to powder. The powder that I've been using a lot is the Milani Prep Set and Glow Powder. I like this powder because it doesn't make me look matte. It's got a very nice kind of sheen on the skin, but it's not strong and it's not glittery. I use it with a Real Techniques. This is the Ultimate Powder Brush. See, it's pretty big. I like this brush because it's big, but it's not too big. And I just kind of press my brush into it, swirl it around a little bit. I tap some off, and I press it into my skin. I don't swirl it because I don't want it to disturb any of the product underneath by kind of swiping it away. So I just start dabbing it on the skin, kind of pressing the powder into the skin. Alright, and once I've got powder all over my face, I go in with a second powder. This time I use a bronzer. This is the Pixi Beauty Bronzer in the shade Summertime, which you can tell I like quite a bit because that is some pretty heavy pan I've hit on it. I use a Real Techniques blush brush with this. It's a little more targeted, and I just kind of swirl the brush around, tap a little bit off. I like to put this around my hairline. This bronzer will kind of, because the idea of foundation is it kind of gives you a blank canvas and kind of tries to suck the color out of your skin depending on what color you're using and how high coverage it is. So this foundation is a tiny bit light for me, so it kind of like washed me out a tiny bit. So bronzer will give me a little bit of kind of glow and a little bit of suntan back into the skin. So I'm going to take it up on the hairline. There's an idea that you want bronzer on the high points of your face, and honestly, when I used to watch YouTube videos, for the longest time, I didn't even know what that meant, because I thought high points, I thought, okay, at the top of my head, what's going on there? But what that means is kind of like on your hairline, maybe on your nose, because think about where you sunburn whenever you're out, like up on your hairline and a little bit onto your forehead, on your cheeks, and on your nose. And being that I use kind of a minimal makeup approach, I don't ever wear blush or wear highlight. I mean, sometimes I put highlight on if I'm doing like an editorial kind of look. So I will just kind of put bronzer everywhere. I kind of make it look like if I've been out in the sun, you know, naturally. I sweep a little bit on my nose. I kind of put some on my cheeks, on my chin. I really just kind of take it everywhere just to kind of wake my skin up a little bit. I'm sure that there are makeup artists out there that would frown upon me taking so much bronzer over my face, but considering I'm not using blush and I'm not using highlight to really contour, I just kind of take the bronzer everywhere because it gives me some color back to my skin. It wakes me up a little bit. And then if it ever looks like I've overdone the bronzer, like perhaps I have here a little bit, I'm just going to take my other powder brush and I'm just going to work over to make sure everything is blended a little bit better. And that bronzer has just woken up my skin a little bit. Makes me look like I've actually been out in the sun ever, which is very unlike me. And it just makes me look a little bit more alive, so I like the way that looks. I'm going to use a brow gel. This isn't really that necessary, but because my brows are okay, and plus they're kind of hidden by my glasses anyway. But I like to put some on just to even my brows out a little bit and keep them in place. This is the E.L.F. brow gel in medium. It's got a very tiny wand. I just brush it through kind of shape my brows and give them a little bit of color. This isn't anything drastic, that's why I like gel, because you're not drawing in hairs, you're not using a pencil to fill in all the gaps. You're just kind of tinting them and the skin underneath very slightly, a little bit with brow gel. Because I'm not really into the whole like blocky Instagram brow situation. So this just kind of evens them out and holds them in place. I feel like I'm not very energetic today, probably because I'm tired. Also, usually whenever I do videos, I'm just kind of playing around, but this one I actually have like a plan. I feel like I'm really bad at explaining myself whenever I have a plan. Okay, so now the brow gel's in, my brows are a little bit darker, they're just shaped a little bit better. It's not a super necessity, but I just like to use it. The next two steps are a little bit optional. They're just kind of like some extras that I like to do. I'm gonna put a little bit of a light pencil in my waterline, and I'm gonna put mascara on. So for the light pencil, I have a few different ones that I use, but I like this one from Rimmel. This is the Scandaleyes waterproof pencil. It's in the color Nude. So when I put, this could probably do with the sharpening. When I put color in my waterline, I pull my eyelid down with my sponge, and I just kind of color it in, like so. Can you see this? So the idea behind this for me is that sometimes your waterline can look a little bit kind of red or a little pink, and it can make you look a little bit more tired. So by kind of canceling out some of that redness and using a nude pencil in your waterline, it just makes your eyes look a little bit bigger, and it makes you look a little bit more awake. I tend to find that this and mascara are the most obvious steps. Like if you're going for kind of a no makeup, these are the pretty obvious steps. So you can either be really delicate with it, or you can just skip it altogether, because I'm not going to care if you skip it. And I have one final step that I'm going to do. I'm going to put mascara on. Lately I've been using L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara. It's waterproof. I always use waterproof mascaras. This mascara has a little bit of a hourglass shaped wand, as you can see. I like hourglass shaped wands because they taper in the middle, and I'm less likely to kind of smudge the mascara onto my eyelid, because if it's a big fat wand with long bristles, every goddamn time I get mascara on my eyelid and then I have to use a Q-tip to kind of get it off after, and I might do that today, who knows. It's just not worth the effort. I always use eyelash curlers too. I talked about this in my last video. I curl my lashes, and I generally hold them for about 30 seconds before I put mascara on, which might seem a little bit extreme, but it's just the way I roll because my eyelashes tend to stick straight out, so I'm going to do that right now. Alright, now I'm going to go in with the mascara. I'm very delicate with mascara, but you want to kind of wiggle and then pull up. I also never do more than one coat of mascara. I know some people on YouTube, they'll like put a coat on, let it dry, put a coat on, let it dry, put a coat on, let it dry, and really build it up. I don't really think that's necessary for me, because I try to be, obviously I want my lashes to look wonderful, but I don't want them to be like huge and clumpy, and that's just not really the look I'm after. But this is how I look with mascara on this side, and I'm gonna go ahead and curl my other lashes and put mascara on there too, and I will be right back. Alright, now I've got mascara on both eyes, both curled lashes, both mascara on my lashes. How am I looking over here? Monitor Corey, how are things? Very last step, lip balm. You don't really, this is a herbivore one, so it's kind of expensive, but obviously I don't need to show you how to put lip balm on, but it's a good little measure of protection. If you have lip balm with SPF, that's even better, because your lips are very sensitive. Alright, and that's my look. I realize this video probably wasn't super exciting. I tend not to be someone who wants to stand here or sit here and be really excitable and shout into the camera. I'm more of just, an easygoing kind of, this is what I do, this is my process kind of thing. So I'm sorry if this was a little bit boring, but this is a very practical, taking you through what I do every step of the way in order to get just a very basic kind of polished look that I would use if I'm going to dinner or if I'm going out to do something on the weekend. I make sure that my beard is trimmed, that my cheeks are shaved, my neck is shaved. I put moisturizer, I wash my face, I put moisturizer on, I put foundation on, I put a little bit of concealer where I need it. I powder, I bronze, I put brow gel in, then I put waterline liner in my lower rim, and then I curl my lashes and I put mascara on. But this is it. Like I said, this probably wasn't the most exciting video, but I just kind of wanted to give you a step-by-step process of how I get ready if I'm going to do something. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was informational. I'll have everything listed below that I used, and I also will put everything on the screen and the prices as I use them, because almost everything I use here is pretty affordable. So if you're looking for a good touchstone on where to get, you know, cheap brands to get makeup that kind of will do the job, I haven't had any problems with any of the products I've used so far, or else I wouldn't be showing them to you. And obviously none of this is like sponsored. I have like, you know, 2 followers, so I mean, who's even gonna watch me for sponsored videos? But that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informational. I will probably be back with a little bit more of an exciting video for my next one, because this was pretty basic. But that's it. Take care, everybody. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.